So hello and welcome. This will be a detailed preview India versus Australia. We have with us the absolute legend Revsportz, and we have with us one of a lookalike, Mr. Travis Head's lookalike, Bharat Bhai having a mustache like Travis Head.
Dense
And,
mustache like
yes,
Travis Head.
dense mustache. That's the key word here, dense mustache. And everyone who's seeing him around, he was, absolutely been told that he looks like Travis Head. So, Travis Head will obviously be the talking point of this video. But apart from this, we'll, in detail, as I mentioned earlier, discuss about the playing 11, the conditions, the pitch, the weather, the Indian playing 11 and the Australian playing 11. What are the key matchups as far as this match is concerned, and whether there will be a pressure in front of India that what had happened on 19th of November, will it impact them, or will the T20 World Cup win, 2020 in 2024 will slightly ease it out as far as this India-Australia contest is concerned. Bharat bhai, how will you start? India-Australia. First, just give me a glimpse that, I remember my first match India-Australia in the 2003 World Cup, which I saw in television. India lost that game in the league stage. India lost in the final two. Then there were many memories of India losing to Australia, but then there was a match, in the 2007 T20 World Cup. Then there is a match in 2011 World Cup. Give me a sense when you started watching India versus Australia, your first game. I want to know the big game, big India-Australia game, where whatever be the result might be. But, give me a sense of this India-Australia rivalry in the ICC 50 over tournaments.
Yeah, the big game I watched was the 1992 World Cup. I was a 7-year-old kid, I guess.
Wow.
So India.
It's my birth year.
About 7 years. Australia scored 237.
Yeah.
Dean Jones got about 90 or on those lines. Then there was that bad rain rule, which meant that India had to chase something like 236. This 1 run was taken off, or 2 runs were taken off, and 3 overs were taken off. And finally, India needed 3 runs of the last ball or whatever. And Javagal Srinath hit one shot, and Stewart dropped it. Everyone thought it was a 6, but it was not a 6. And because of that, maybe Javagal Srinath didn't pinch another run, and India lost by 1 run. I think that is where it started.
Serious heartbreak.
Because perhaps Srinath and Raju thought that it's going for a 6, but it didn't. That is why they took it easy, and Srinath was run out.
So your first experience was 1992.
Yes.
You were not
And
even
then
born
obviously
then.
the next one.
Let me ask his
yes.
first experience, and then I'll do the another game. Yes.
My
When
first
you-
my first experience.
Yes.
Yeah, I was not even born, like you said,
Yes.
92.
Yeah.
I'm a 2000s kid.
Yeah.
So my
Zen
first
G.
Zen G, yeah, whatever you can. I think Zen G is post 2010s, but that's another debate.
Okay.
But my first India-Australia game will be that, 2007 T20 World Cup. I'll come to the ODIs as well. But first India-Australia experience was 2007
Yuvraj
T20
Singh.
World Cup. Yuvraj Singh, but the Srishant celebration, that was the highlight game. Yes, exactly. Matthew Hayden, because the way Matthew Hayden was,
Yes, Matthew Hayden
big
and Adam Gilchrist's
personality,
partnership.
yeah, big personality
Andrew
coming out.
Simons.
So
Yes.
it was always like Matthew Hayden is the biggest threat to India. The hype was around Matthew Hayden, that he can take the game away from India. And and I was only reading newspapers at that time. The newspaper used to come.
Yeah, social media doesn't exist at that point of
It was
time.
all about
Okay.
young kids reading newspapers at that time. So I was reading
Unusual,
that.
very unusual.
Very unusual. At those time, it was routine thing for us. So that game, that really
Okay.
kicked off and the way Yuvraj batted.
Yes.
But since still that Srishant celebration, the way he bowled,
That was one of
that
the
was
iconic,
even RP.
iconic celebration.
Yes, but the ODI. So I would say that 2008 CB final.
Okay, CB series.
Final. And
Again,
when
India
when it comes to ICC tournaments, then that Motera 11 to
yes.
Motera.
Okay, Bharat bhai, tell me one important thing. Like today we were discussing very much about Travis Head. Is there any name you can come out with who has that kind of fear in Indians' mind with Ricky Ponting, like someone like a Ricky Ponting or someone like a Glenn McGrath at that point of time? Like the way we are discussing about Travis Head at this point of time, that this man against India in a big match, in a World Cup game, always there, performing always there. Is there any name in your mind?
Yeah, see, if you look at history, a lot of Australians have hurt the
Okay.
Indian team.
Multiple times.
Yeah, a lot of Australians. It's not just
Give me some
McGrath.
names.
Yeah, Glenn McGrath, obviously.
Yeah.
Ricky Ponting, obviously. The
Yeah.
War twins in the 90s used to hurt
Mhm.
India a lot. Yes, Michael Bevan,
Yeah.
even from that time. And Devon Fleming, for some reason, used to hurt India in the 96 World Cup, took those 5 wickets. So, Matthew Hayden, obviously. Gilchrist, you remember 2003 World Cup, even
Yes.
Gilchrist
Yes.
played
That
that
final.
superb knock. So, yeah. When it comes to Australians, a lot of them have hurt the Indian team. Just wanted to add
Yeah.
one more memory from that time. There's a 96 World Cup game.
Okay.
It turned out, because I'm telling it because it turned out to be a bittersweet memory for me, because my favorite player went on to smash the Indian bowlers.
Marquardt. Just in
And-
case if you guys don't know,
Yes,
his
yes.
favorite player
But
is
India
Marquardt.
lost. Tendulkar scored at 90, and again he was stumped off. My favorite player only, but India went on to lose by some 16 runs. So yeah.
So Bharat only have that memories where India losing. When it comes to
90s,
Weber, yeah.
90s,
I can totally.
90s Australia was a bigger
I'm
team.
in somewhere middle of these conversations where India just started to winning. You know, we lost in 2003. It was a wonderful again by Yuvraj Singh and VVS Lakshman having the partnership. I think that was in Sydney where Yuvraj Singh scored that 139 and a century from VVS Lakshman also. But coming to this game, Weber, what do you think? Where Australia is lacking at this point of time, because everyone is saying that India are favorites. Are we really the favorites? If we are, where Australia is lacking? Tell me where are they lacking?
Two things. First, where they lack is the game time.
Okay.
They have only played one complete game in this tournament.
Yes.
That came against England.
Yes.
That was a definitely
and again
one of the
in a different country, and a
different
wicket,
conditions.
yes.
Flat,
Yes.
absolute belter of a track in Lahore.
Okay.
Next, you play South Africa. It was a rain-abundant game, rain-marred game in Rawalpindi.
Yes.
Then again, you had a game
Mhm.
against Afghanistan,
Mhm.
which was, you bowled, you bowled one innings, but in your run chase, it was a half game, not a
Yeah,
complete
yeah.
game. Again, a rain-marred game. So Australia haven't played, all three complete games like India have done.
Mhm.
In Australia have only played one complete game. Lack of game time is going to hurt them
Yes.
if they lose in
Yes.
this semi-final. Second thing, lack of experience.
Yeah.
You see their top order. This is the first ICC tournament that they are playing without David Warner post 2011.
Yes.
So it's a big. Obviously, David Warner's shoes cannot be filled by anyone.
Mhm.
And the one who was their permanent opener, the one who did well for them, Matthew Short, he's injured now.
Yes.
He's not available, and they have
They've
bought
added Cooper Conley to it.
Conley, but
Yeah.
again, he's not a
Yes,
specialist
and
opener.
that he's not an opener also.
And the thing with Matthew Short, losing Matthew Short is you're not just losing on an impact player who could have scored big runs or quick runs. It was also about Matthew Short bowling some overs of spin.
Yes.
Last match against Afghanistan, he bowled around 7 overs and conceded only 24 or 28 runs. Even Steve Smith mentioned that in his press conference that Short was bowling really well in the last game.
Exactly.
So they are missing out on a spin bowling option as well. In these conditions, he could have made an impact. I'm
Okay.
not saying like an Adam Zampa could have picked a 3-4 wickets, but
Sure.
yeah, 1 or 2 odd wickets, you can bank on part-timers to do that.
Okay.
Especially when the conditions are aiding. So I think lack of game time,
And lack of experience.
because you look at their bowling resources that they have no Mitchell Stark, no Pat Cummins, no Josh Silverwood. They have come here with Spencer Johnson, Ben Dorcius, Nathan Ellis,
yes.
Sean Abbott. So
Yes.
these are the bowlers which lack experience of playing ICC tournaments. These are the players who have played handful of ODI games.
Okay.
So this is where Australia's problem lies.
Okay, Bharat bhai, why are we saying this, that the Indian team is looking favorite? Why are we saying that this is not gonna be a tough game for India? He told about the Australian thing. Why Indians are favorite?
Yeah, in these conditions, obviously, India have played enough games, even in this tournament, and India have the kind of spinners for these conditions.
Yeah.
Varun Chakravarti is bowling at the peak of his prowess, no doubt about that. Someone you can say in that context, he has touched spin bowling nirvana for him, because it's not just about his variations. If you look at how he's bowling, if you want side spin, he will bowl side spin. If you want over spin, he will bowl over spin. You look at his variation.
And not changing too much with the grips also.
Yes. And if you look at variations in pace, He can go from 88 kilometers per hour to 13 kilometers per hour. Look at the bandwidth of 25 kilometers per hour. And you talked about no real change in grip. If you look at his grip, sometimes it's an unconventional leggy, sometimes it's a conventional leggy. So very little change in release points as well. So when you consider all that, I think India have the spin attack. India's batting lineup also looks pretty powerful. And then as you noted, Australia have an inexperienced pace attack. See, when there is something in it for spinners, pacers also come into play because they can ball cutters, change of pace. If you ball into the wicket, a little bit, hit the deck into the wicket, all these things will come into play. And Australia just don't have the resources for that. So India will start favourites. Obviously, I'm not completely ruling out Australia. But if Australia go on to win this tournament with these resources, without their main pace bowlers, without Cameron Green, without Mitch Marsh, without the retired Marcus Stoinis and all these guys, then other teams have to think about themselves as to what exactly is wrong with them. That even without all those players, Australia are winning a tournament.
Or maybe and not just Australia. Even if some team like any team like South Africa or even for that matter New Zealand wins, then also it will be considered a big win. Why? Because New Zealand also have an inexperienced bowling attack. As you see, Kyle Jamieson, Will O'Rourke, but they haven't played a lot of ODI games. And then you look at South African bowling attack. There is no Anrik Nortje. Gerald Coetzee, who was their highest wicket taker in the 2023 World Cup, is not there either. So these three semi-finalists
have a little more class in there.
Obviously, class is there. Quality is there. But what they lack again is experience.
But
in big tournaments,
I think what Bharat wanted to say is that if Australia wins from this team also, then others team have to think that what they are doing and what they don't have to do as far as comparing it with their squad with Australia, because they don't have any kind of experience. So I think be it a South Africa, yes, the quality is there, experience is not there, a little notch up quality for New Zealand also. But as far as Australia is concerned, I don't think that anyone can at this point of time, yes, now they are in the semi-finals, the way they have started the tournament, they have completely changed the narrative. With that very first game, they have completely changed the narrative. But coming to these conditions now and coming to the matchups, we talked a lot about the matchup thing in our other shows also. There are multiple things to look forward to. A left arm seamer in front of Rohit Sharma. There's a leg spinner. There could be two also. We were watching the practice, and we'll mention that in our day wrap. Mentioned in our day wrap video that Tanveer Sangha looking a potential option for Australian team to let him in. Even Stephen Smith in his press conference mentioned that they are tempted towards playing an extra spinner. So two leg spinners in front of Virat Kohli, a left arm seamer in front of Rohit Sharma, and then if they are using that same wicket, what we are getting to know at this point of time, the India-Pakistan wicket will be there in offer. So there was some movement also in that wicket. If you remember the India-Pakistan game, Shaheen Shah's Afridi's ball, initially Naseem Shah. So if they can get some kind of assistance, the Spencer Johnsons or the Dwayne and the Nathan Ellis's, means whoever they will choose, the Australian team will choose. Then I think there will be an interesting call that, what do you think the matchup could be, the most important matchup factor? And it's not only about Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. It's also about Shubman Gill with a, in-swinging deliveries at the very start. Then you have a KL Rahul also, you have a Shreyas Iyer also, you have others also to follow.
See, Shubman Gill, as you mentioned, Shubman Gill has a certain weakness against the incoming deliveries. It's not just against left-arm seamers. Against right-arm seamers as well, you see Scott Boland, James Anderson. Obviously, the wicket had something in it for the seamers. But Shubman Gill has some issues when it is swinging deliveries, or even if there is assistance from the wicket, if it's coming off the deck as well. So incoming deliveries has been a problem for Shubman Gill. Not just that, even leg spinners. Leg spinner, you see Abrar, he played Rishad Hussain really well. But again, if it's spinning grip and turn, if that's the case in the pitch, then he will, I will not say struggle, but he will find it tough. To accumulate his runs. So as far as the matchups are concerned, I think Virat Kohli, Adam Zappa again tops the list, because if you look at the Australian bowling attack, who's the biggest threat in the Australian bowling attack, then it has to be Adam Zampa, without a shadow of doubt. Not just because he's the most experienced and he has played the most ODIs, because these conditions, he will like to bowl in these conditions, and also because in the T20 World Cup that was played here in 2021, he was one of Australia's most impactful players.
And he
in
was the
that
highest
tournament.
wicket taker also, if I'm
Exactly.
not
He
wrong.
was. I can't remember how many wickets he picked in that tournament, but he was one of the most impactful players. Even David Warner mentioned that
Yes.
after winning the
Yeah,
player
man
of the
of the
tournament.
tournament,
Yes.
yes.
So it has to be, and Zampa knows these conditions. He has played in these conditions, and that's why he becomes a bigger threat for India, not just
Okay.
for Virat Kohli, but for
Okay.
someone like Shreyas Iyer as well, who's been
Yes.
scoring runs for fun. But Shreyas Iyer again, top hand player, goes with hard hands. And I have seen him, struggle against leg spin because it creates a gap between bat and pad,
yes.
and that googly outfoxes him. That's
Okay.
why I think Shubman Gill, Shreyas Iyer, and Virat Kohli become prone to leg spinners. So that's why there is more temptation from the Australian side to play an additional specialist spinner in the form of someone like Tanveer Sangha, who's a leggy.
Okay, Bharat bhai, as far as Indians are concerned, you can add any other thing, apart from what Vaibhav said in that matchup point of view from Australia to India. Is there anything you want to see from India towards Australia? Is there any matchup, Ravindra Jadeja versus Steven Smith? Was that any kind of matchup? Or, one special thing which I want to know, what we can do in front of Travis Head? Give me an exact plan for Travis Head. What's the plan? If Indian team today calls you and asks you that, Bharat, what's the plan against Travis Head? What 2 or 3 things you will tell them?
Yeah, I've written an entire copy on it. I
Send
think
that copy to Team India.
Yeah, unofficially I might have sent it,
Okay.
but yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But the thing is, India executed whatever I said. They might have not seen my face, but they executed what I said in the last 2 tests against Travis Head.
Okay.
Basically, you have to go, if you're right arm seamer, you have to go round the wicket, that's plan A. You
Ball
can't
close to his body?
and attack the stumps, obviously, with an inward angle.
Yeah.
Don't ball back of a length.
What would be the length?
Foolish or short. Don't
Foolish
ball
or
back
short.
of length. And obviously, if someone who doesn't move across towards off much, so you might get beaten on the outside edge. So don't get frustrated if he gets beaten on the outside edge. Try to attack on the inside as much as possible.
Try to be patient enough.
Yes, and likely you would get LBW or bowled. And if you're a left armer, it is easier. But again, for that sake, if you want to pick,
We don't have a left armer.
You have, but
Yeah, we are not picking him up at this point of
it's
time.
easier for a left armer to do that, tuck him up. So that's plan A. Obviously, if he's on 50 or 60, what can you do? You have to go for plan B, that is to bowl well outside off from over the wicket. Maybe even from round the wicket, well outside off, have a deep point, have a deep backward point, maybe somewhere deep cover or something on those lines, and just hope that he'll be tempted to play one of the shots, and maybe that he'll miscue it slightly and get caught. He's been out in that sense as well. But again, only if he's on 50 or 60, you have to try it, because you don't want to play with fire when he's on 5 or 6. That's, I think, the plan B. Obviously, you can have an off spinner against him.
Yeah.
And again, try to ball away from his zone and hope that you'll miscue one of them. But the plan is always round the wicket, attack him on the inside, and try to clean him up, or maybe one that straightens like Harshit Rana did on the angle in the Perth test.
Anything on the matchup point of view?
Yeah, so
From India.
Harshit Rana did it once. What I said in that Perth test, it was angled in, and
he left it,
and then straightened off the angle.
Yes.
And it was cleaned up. But in the second test, he bowled a little wider, and that's all Travis Head needs. So maybe he or Shami both can go round the wicket and try to do that. Shami almost succeeded in the 2023 World Cup.
Yeah.
But again, he was beating him on the outside edge. You have to look to beat him on the inside. That's the main thing. Jasprit Bumrah also did the same. So you have to get your execution right, because even if you give a little bit of it, he will smash you for boundaries.
Okay.
Just want to add small thing in that. Because India has 2 right arm seamers and potentially they are going to play. So right arm spinners, as Bharat sir rightly mentioned, go around the wicket, keep it close to the
natural angle closing.
Keep it closer to the off stump and hit the length. Hit the good length. Because what Travis Heads want, because he never leaves his crease against the fast bowlers. You seldom see him playing outside of his crease.
Okay.
His both feet, he remains in the back.
Also doesn't move across towards
exactly. So what it does, you can caught him in the crease like Harshit Rana did. So that's why you don't have to give him any sort of room. even there are very small margin of errors when it comes to bowling to Travis Head. If you are
Okay.
a spinner, someone like Varun Chakravarti, go over the wicket and bowl that flipper, because he stays inside the crease against spinners generally. So what will happen? It will skid off the pitch quicker, because I think a flipper will work good length, and because Varun Chakravarti bowls it quick, he has a high quicker arm speed, and he's quicker through the air.
And top arm means top.
Yeah, it
top
will be
angle.
difficult for him to face. Just target the stumps and you will get Travis Head out.
Okay, so that's the part where we have discussed about the plans. We have discussed about the matchups. We have discussed about what both of them are doing at this point of time. We discussed a little about the earlier memories also. Now we have to see whether India can pass this test or not, or whether they can be entering into the entering into the finals. Whether it will be played on Lahore's wicket or in Dubai's wicket, we will at this point of time, 24 hours from now, we'll be knowing what the result is. So let's wait, and till then, keep watching, keep supporting, keep subscribing, and keep liking the video. Thank you so much.